Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. In today's video, we are going to build a simple yet powerful grocery list using vanilla JavaScript, HTML and CSS. This project is perfect for beginners looking to get hands-on practice with DOM manipulation, event handling, and a bit of styling. So, let's dive in. First thing first, let's start with the HTML structure. Already we can see that we already have a basic HTML file here within our directory, having the basic HTML head and header tags, and we also already included our style sheets. Let's call it styles instead of style.css. We also have our JavaScript header file also added to the header and already the body. So we are going to create a form for users to add grocery items and a section to display the list of items, just like we see here. So we have this to add items and a section to display the list of items. So let's get in right away. First, we have a div. With a certain class, say container. We display a title. Now let's add the actual form where we have the input and the button to add. Let's give our form an ID. We call it, say, grocery form. Now we have our form, our basic form. The next thing we want to have is the area to display the list of the items on the grocery list with ID grocery list. So basically we have our HTML set up completely, and we can preview this to see how it looks like. So that's what we have. We have our HTML set up and we do that. So now next we see this is just bare. So next let's add our styles to give some beauty to our grocery list. So next we add styles.css file. Yeah, so once we style that, we see we already give some beauty to our grocery list, and then we save. Now if we do this, item 1, and add, nothing happens. So now let's add some interactivity to this list, so we can be able to add items and then see them display in the grocery list below, just like we have on the example. So we do script.js. First, we select the grocery form, the input and the list. We handle the form submission using the add events listener function by doing this form dot add event listener. So which event are we listening to? We are listening to the submit event. Once you click on this button, is going to do a submit. So we are listening to the submit event. We do submit. Once we submit, we don't want our page to completely load. So to prevent this, we do so the event that was submitted dot prevent default. This stops the page from loading. Now let's get the value of the input. We do this const item equals to input, our input which we we got up there dot value dot trim. Next, we check to make sure that if input or if the item is not empty, so we make sure that it's not equal to an empty string, then we add it to the list. So we are going to define this function very soon. Add item, and then we pass in this item. Also, we want to clear the input value. Now, let's add the add item function to add the items to the list. We call it up there without actually defining it. So let's do function add item. It takes an item. Within the add item function, we want to create a new list item each time the button is clicked and the value is not an empty string. To achieve this, we do a const li, which stands for list item, equal to document.create element. This creates a new element in the DOM, and the element we want to create is an li element. So we do document.create element li, and to this li element we want to add a text content, which is the item which we just submitted by clicking on the add button. So we do add text content is equal to item. Now to each list element, just like we have on the demo, we want to add a delete button so that it can be taken off the list. So to achieve this, we do a const, say delete button, it's equals to document dot create element, and which element do we want to create is a button, and to this button we want to add a text content which says delete. Now, since the list of grocery items is not stored anywhere for persistence, we can just use CSS to take an item out of the list. So to do this, we can do delete button dot class list. This gets all the lists of the classes that are part of this delete button, and then we can do an add to add a new class list to it. So we do delete button, which already exists in our CSS dash ptn, and then we do an li. So we want to append now this button to the list which we had above. So we do li dot append child, delete button. Now we have each list item with its own delete button by the side. Let's now append this list item to the grocery list, and so we have that. Now let's test this and see. So we do test item 1, yes, and we have our list. Test item 2, and we have that. But our delete will definitely not work now. So let's handle the delete event. To handle the delete event, we want to listen to the delete button. So we do delete dot add events listener. Which event listener are we listening to? Is a click from the delete button, so we do click, pass in a function, and simply what do? We want to remove this element from the list. So we can test this now again and see. Test item 1. We have that. Test item 2. We have that. Let's just add one, say apples. So let's delete test item 2, and test item 2 is gone. Apples is gone, and we can add again our apples. Oranges. So for our grocery list, we have a form which you can collect input from a user, and once the add button is clicked or submitted for this form, we prevent the default loading button using the event.prevent default, and then we collect the various input and display the list for the items, and each item can be removed from the list by clicking on the delete button. With this, we've built a fully functional grocery list app with vanilla JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Check for the GitHub link in the description below, and feel free to customize this app to fit your needs. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more coding tutorials. See you in the next one.